Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin Stern coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner, and I apologize for that little bit of noise. I forgot to turn the volume down on my tablet, which I have taken care of. I set my tablet up to go to my channel so I can look at it for the chat, since I have my phone positioned directly above my tray. So what I have here is a newer style of Chinese single meal ration, but like the previous versions, such as a Type 9, Type 13, and some other variants, you have 2 entrees and some very small side items. And each entree comes with its own FRH. And this is a menu 6. I'm going to hold it like that so you can see the close-up of the bag. I sliced it down here when I was cutting the package open, but this is below the seal. But this has a best before date of October 30 of 24. I do not know when this was packed. There's no other date on here. Everything on the back of here is all the nutritional information in Chinese for each component, plus instructions on how to use the FRH. No tear notches on this. Actually, there might be, but I'm not going to use it. See, the tear notch is actually right here, and you'd rip it down the side, but I'm going to go ahead and just cut it across the top. Well, that didn't quite work as well as planned, but there are some other unique things about these Chinese rations. This is a disposable food tray, which I'm obviously not going to use. In fact, I have my Tupperware tray out that I have had since 1983, but I will open this up to show you what is inside. There is one side item which appears to be something crunchy. There's nothing written on it. This is possibly some kind of a pickled vegetable in a better retort style pouch. This one seems a little bit thin. This is the bag that you use to measure, or I'll hold it up against this. You fill this bag up to that line, and then you pour that into the heater bag. And there are 2 more side items. I have no idea what these are. I do not have my phone set up for Chinese. This is some kind of a sauce. Actually, this one is slightly different than this appears to be an oversized FRH in one of these foam bags. And I still have all of these bags that were in the previous Chinese rations that I reviewed. The entree is actually inside here. But this tear notch may not be working, so I'll show you what this whole thing looks like. Again, this has instructions on how to use it. Nothing on the back. But actually, this appears to be a single entree, large retort pouch. Again, nothing on either side. And this is a very thick element pad, but I am not going to use this FRH. I'm going to tuck it away inside of the insulator bag. In the past, these FRHs have been known to leave a really funky chemical residue, but I think that has improved over the years. Burger Butt and Burger Butt are here. Steven, thanks for dropping in. One of these, I will have to open up each one of these packets because I don't know what is what on here. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the pot on the stove to heat up. And I also did not see a drink powder in here either. But after I get this boiling, then I will open up all of these other items to see exactly what they are. I'll be right back. I am going to have a cup of tea. I am back. I took the kettle back into the kitchen. So I'll go ahead and open this up to show you exactly what is all in here. And I am using the ration bag as my trash bag. This is actually very clever. So the Chinese soldier in the field would have this to put their meal in, and if they had a way to start a fire, they could simply burn this. So I will actually be holding on to this. You can put all of the food in there, and the way that is folded, it keeps it a little bit stable. And then you get a utensil. Almost the shape of the Australian CR1M spoon, but not quite as long, but a little bit bigger. But the shape is, the bowl of the spoon is pretty much the same. So looks like a decent quality spoon. Again, I will save that, add that to my stash of disposable utensils. There's a small napkin. And you get a wrapped toothpick. So that is a toothpick inside of that wrapping. So that is the accessory packet. I just got a tea bag from my kitchen. Oops. Gotta fish that out. I don't know if there is a cold drink option in here. This appears to be some kind of a pickled vegetable. But I will find out. Oh, that actually looks like meat. Hugo Homestead is here. The Carlos Perry is here. And this is a Chinese Special Forces ration menu 6. And this one I got to push down because the tear notch is here and this was up. So we'll see what is in all of these little packets. That almost sounds, or smells sweet. But yet a little savor at the same time. I got this for a decent price on eBay. This, I'm pretty sure, is a sauce, so I'm just going to set that in between my mug and my drinking jar. The previous rations, Chinese rations, had all of the information on the individual packet. And that is definitely a pickled vegetable. I'm just going to go ahead and use my spork to get this out of here. I did enjoy the pickled veggies that I've gotten in previous Chinese rations, or when I used to buy stuff from foreign MRE. Sometimes they would just have a bunch of these loose Chinese items. I'm going to use my little scissors on this tool to cut this open. Mother Earth is here. Thanks for dropping in. This smells like it might be a stock or a dried soup cube. So apparently no cold drink. But that's okay. I can pour some water in my drinking jar. So what I think I'll do, I'll get another mug, and my water, I had shut off the pot that I'd used to boil the water for my tea, but it should still be plenty hot enough. I'll be right back. I grabbed the foreign MRE mug. I took the kettle back and I decided to go ahead and go into the kitchen and get my entree. Yeah, this is definitely a soup. That broke up very easily. So I will put that back there. I'm drying off the pouch. The tear notch is here, so I shake the food down. Make sure it's below the tear notch so when I rip it. Wasn't exactly good rip it. Maybe I can get it from the other side. Now this is going to come out as one huge block. And for those just coming in late, this is a Chinese Special Forces Menu 6. I've only seen one other of these opened up on camera, and it was a pork-based menu. This has had a Best Buy date of October 30th, 24. Ricky Gass and CR, thanks for dropping in. So the beef bits are mixed in with the rice. It's like this was a 300-gram pouch. So just a little bit of beef in the rice. I'm going to go ahead and give that beef by itself a taste. A condensed but minimally processed beef. So it's not like the texture ground beef. A little bit less processed than the halal beef roast that I had a few weeks ago. There's some bits of other veggies in the rice. And the rice is al dente. It is a very dense rice. And it is not mushy in the least. It could use a little bit of seasoning. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this sauce. I'm very intrigued by it. Spicy tuna rolls is here. It's a very, very dark, thick sauce. It kind of looks like the consistency of a hoisin. Very difficult to get out of here. But it's going to give it the color of soy sauce. So there is a good look at it with the sauce on it. A definite thick soy sauce. And it is definitely salty, which this definitely could have used. But I like it. I like this. Well, that's okay, CR. That's more for the rest of us who do like it. And I really like soy sauce. This appears to be, according to the eBay description, it did mention 2 beef items. So I was expecting 2 retorts with beef and something else in it, but this is the other beef item. I probably could have heated this up had I known what this was. But it's like a beef fat in here. In fact, I may mix this beef fat into here. At least as best as I can, because it's very congealed, being that it was not warmed up. That's got a good flavor too. Now these pickled vegetables, I'm going to give you a close-up look of that. Looks like a mix of some kind of greens and I'm not sure what it is. Could be pickled cabbage. And some other pickled greens, which I like. I would just eat this on its own. A nice crunchy side compared to this. Mama Styles is here. The soup appears to be just a vegetable soup, kind of like an egg drop. Switching to hold it in my left hand. Like an orange bell pepper. I'm going to see if This might be egg white. Yep, that is exactly what that is. So it's like an egg drop soup, but with just egg white. Lightly seasoned. I had no idea how much water to put in there. I just took a guess. These really dark bits that may be seaweed. I'm going to guess that is seaweed. That would give it a little bit of a salty bite. I like the texture of the beef in this. No, I would say better than Panda Express. As much as I did like going to the local Panda Express back in the day when I had a need to get lunch on the run in between clients when I was doing home care by bus. If I had enough time, I would go up into the food court of what was called the Kaleidoscope at the hub. That portion of the building got torn down in the spring of this year. So that part of it is gone. But that whole area, especially up on that what used to be the third level where the food court was, and there are several other places to get a quick lunch, and I used to go up there and make my rounds of all those places. Because it was right near where all the buses would park before the Dart Central Station got built. So that was very handy for getting lunch on a run, especially for the downtown workers. Or for people who did home care and are having to, very few do that kind of a job by bus because it's very hard. Mike Crusher is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. I have no idea when the pack date was. There's nothing indicating that on here. Best Buy is October 30th of this year. So there's nothing at all on any of the individual pouches that the food is in. No drink of any kind except the soup here in my foreign MRE mug. That's a vegetable egg drop soup, basically, but with egg whites. Little bits of beef and some veggies, including seaweed in this rice. And this is another, just like a roasted beef. It did not get heated because I had no idea what would be in these other items. But if I did, I would have actually heated that up. But as it is, it's pretty darn good. And there was some of the fat, so I mixed that in here. And then this is a pickled vegetables. The other Chinese rations that I've had in the past, I really enjoyed all the pickled veggies. This is just a tea bag from my kitchen. Yes, I'm a tea bag squeezer. Yeah, this is a titanium spork. By the way, welcome Fruitland. This originally came from foreignemery.com, like the mug. Unfortunately, they had to stop selling rations. But Art will still put up reviews on the YouTube channel. And then Nina still will do some contest draws, and plus she does all the editing. So their YouTube channel is still active, just not selling rations, but I use this spork all the time. I have another one that I take camping. But you can find similar titanium spork like this on Amazon or eBay or probably other places. But this beef with the rice, I'm really enjoying it. Living room TV, welcome. I do not know what that is, so I cannot answer that. But these titanium sporks are very light. It has a bit of a serration there, so you can easily cut through bigger pieces of meat like I just did with that. But it's probably lighter than some of the plastic ones that are similar in shape, but obviously more durable. I had a plastic one that was like this and it broke, so that's why I either use this one or I have a stainless steel one that's bigger, but I prefer to actually take this one because it is lighter weight. You can also find long-handled titanium sporks and spoons and forks and for camping. The soup is lightly seasoned. Again, I may have put too much water in. I just had to take a guess because there's nothing to indicate how much to put in there. So my guess is it would have been to personal preference. Because even here, it only has instructions for how to use the FRH, the flameless ration heater. But now I'm going to look at these things here. They've kind of got pushed together, so when I opened up the pouch, it kind of looked like something that might be savory, but here is one that's split open. And I'll just completely open it up. Oh, Mama Styles, that's awesome. Thanks for that super chat. That's much appreciated. This, it's like the yolk from a boiled egg inside of some kind of an outer dough type thing. Actually, quite good. And with a little bit of that brine from the pickled veggies, that gives it a little bit extra tang, which I like. Ah, that's nothing. So no real dessert in here, but these little, I'll call it an egg nugget. It's actually quite good. But I gotta go back to this. I have not had decent Chinese food in a long time because I just don't go to places to deliberately get it. I go out to eat very seldom on my own dime. I do go to Gersha once a week, but a friend pays for those meals in advance, so all I have to do is just go in there. Normal weeks I go in there on a Thursday. So I get my lunch. Then I go from there into Hillel Groceries and I either pick up things that I can carry to the mosque for use either that Friday or a subsequent Friday for the lunch that we serve after the Friday prayer. And then I will, or I just talk to them about stuff, even if I don't get anything from that store. It's where we get most of our food supplies, such as the rice, the halal meat, the spices, and the big jugs of cooking oil, although those could come from Sam's Club or Walmart because we get the 3-gallon jugs. Yeah, it's not the best thing to cook with, but it's all donated and we go with it. It's the easiest thing to do, and so that's what we do. Little's Kurilla, thanks for dropping in. For those that are new to my channel, I am a Muslim, so I do not eat pork. So when I found this beef menu at a decent price, plus this ration was already in the US, so I had to jump on it. The seller has a few more of these. He has a lot of 4, and then a couple, I think 1 2-pack, and then 1 or 2 more single rations like this one. But I think all of the rest of them that he has have pork in their entrees. But I got a pretty good deal on it. And you can't go wrong with free shipping. Previous Chinese rations that I've had some kind of drink powder, like an isotonic or electrolyte drink powder. This one did not, so I just have water in my drinking jar. But I'm okay with that. I can always drink this soup too. In fact, something like this for the soldier out in the field to mix up that soup would be very comforting if they had to do it outside. Yeah, there are some US MREs that really could use a flavor kick. There are some new menus out there that have started in 2023 and are even newer for 2024 menu lineups. And I think there are some newer menus in the halal MRE lineup. I also got a hold of 2 kosher certified rations that will be coming up in subsequent weeks. And last Sunday, I got into the first of the 4 2017 plus 1 2018 Canadian ration. I got a good deal on this lot of 4, and Old Smoky bought from the same seller. He wanted to buy another set of these, but I think I beat him to the last one. I recognized the tape, I recognized the label style, I recognized the box style, so I knew it had to be the same seller. And a couple of the menus that I got were ones that he got. He got several duplicates, but he bought 4 boxes, so he got 16 rations from this guy, and I got 4. But it's definitely worth chasing down some of these foreign ones. Now, because of the issues that we have with trying to get stuff in from outside the US, I very rarely take chances with buying from sellers that ship from outside the US. If I can find a foreign ration that's already in the US, I'll go for that. And that's what I did with this and those Canadian rations. Poutine cake, that would be interesting. Now, this is egg yolk, like from a boiled egg, inside of a little kind of a dough type outer shell. In fact, I'll break this one open since it's already started to split. And it's actually quite good. It's like the deviled egg, but with another kind of a shell as opposed to the egg white. And because they had been sitting in the brine for my pickled veggies, they got a little bit of that tang, which I like. And this is just some roasted beef to supplement the beef that's in the entree. It has a tiny bit of a sweetness to the seasoning, almost like barbecue, but not quite. But a little bit of the fat that was in that got mixed in here. This had a very thick soy sauce packet, which I had mixed into here. And that definitely improved the flavor. I'm glad I found this menu. I'm really enjoying it. Oh wow, that sounds like it will be a good roll. Spicy. That would be right up my alley. There used to be a seafood restaurant here in one of the downtown buildings here in Des Moines that I had gone into. I had some time to kill for lunch, but really not enough for me to go home. And I wanted to try something different, so I had not yet had sushi, so I got one of their sushi plates. And I really enjoyed it. I very rarely get that. So that was a definite treat for me. Sorry, I turned down the media volume on my tablet. I just didn't turn down the notification volume, so I apologize for that noise. There is LC in the house. Couple of things different than what I expected, but I'm really loving it. No drink option of any kind. I don't know if when a soldier issued this ration would have had just water to drink, or if he or she would have been given or packed their own drink, cold drink mixes, or maybe a instant coffee or instant tea or tea bag or something like that before they went out on mission or on a training exercise. But I got just a tea bag for my kitchen, and I just have straight up water in my drinking jar. Sometimes you get only that, but in my foreign Emery mug is an egg drop vegetable soup with just egg whites. Basically drink that. So a bit of bell pepper. That is egg white. And there, it's very thin piece of orange bell pepper or red. I think there's a couple of bits of green bell pepper in here. Very lightly seasoned, just salted. I think a vegetable broth as opposed to a chicken broth. But on a cold day, a warm soup would definitely hit the spot. Yeah, I like lemon too. Just nothing lemon here. I'm turning to my right to look at the chat on my tablet screen because my phone is mounted over top of the tray, and I would have to stand up and cock my head sideways to try to read it, and I'm not going to try that. Now this is a Tupperware tray that I have had since 1983. It doesn't come out very often, but when I think I'm going to get a huge entree or a double entree in a ration like I thought I was going to get with this, before I opened up the ration bag and started pulling things out and saw that there was only one ration heater bag with a entree retort pouch sealed inside of it, which I took out and heated on the stove instead of using the ration heater. I figure I'm in my apartment, I don't need to use a ration heater, so I save them for times when I do need to use it. But when I have used the Chinese ration heaters in the past, those things are like rockets in a bag. It may take them a little while to kick off, but once they do, you know it. Yeah, yeah, it's times like that when you need to have a few eppies around. My one local friend here who used to have bees, and I had gotten some of his honey, I traded for it. I'll give him something, and then he will give me a jar of honey. But his wife got stung by a bee, and that's when she found out she was severely allergic and had to go to the ER. So after that, they keep eppies. Everywhere they go, no matter what they're doing, if she goes out by herself, or if she and her husband or their daughter are with them, she has eppies, and her husband also carries one in case she used one or something happened, or if it's just easier for him to grab the one that he carries and inject her with it when necessary. It's just a backup plan. Good stuff. Thanks for dropping in. You're looking at what is left of a Chinese Special Forces single meal ration, menu 6. I'm not sure the pack date. I'm guessing these things have a 3-year shelf life like most rations. But it has a best buy of October of this year. So it's just a couple months past that. Not even that, since it's only middle of December. So I don't have a pack date to put in the title. But in the description, I'll probably go ahead and put the best buy date. And I guess that it was packed in, say, 2021. Or 2022, something like that. I'm not sure how I'll do that. Nation MRA finds in the house. But since there's very little left, in my foreign MRE mug is a vegetable egg drop soup with just egg whites in a vegetable broth. No indication of how much water to put in. The pouches that all of the food items had nothing on them whatsoever, whereas older Chinese rations had all of their information for each item on the pouch or packet itself. No drink options of any kind. So I got water in my drinking jar and just tea for my kitchen. This is, I'll separate the bits. There is beef. This bite has a bit of seaweed on it. Rice. I added the really thick soy sauce packet. I think there's maybe bits of other vegetable in here besides the seaweed. And then there was some more, even less processed beef, but a small amount of it that kind of tasted like very slight hint of a sweet barbecue, but very light in color. And the fat that it was packed in had an orange color, as you can tell by the color left on my tray. You wouldn't have been able to see that color that well on my green tray. And then I had some pickled vegetables, a couple of different things, and then there was, I would call it a different version of, well, not quite a deviled egg, but like a boiled egg, but with something else around the egg yolk instead of your standard egg white. I'm not sure what you would call that kind of a thing, but it was actually quite tasty. But just some of the beef fat that was here, I mixed in with this beef and rice, along with the soy sauce. Made it pretty darn good. Tell you, the rice consistency is so much better than rice in USMREs. It's not mush. It's even more al dente than the rice that was in that halal ORP that I had, that British ration. That rice is pretty soft, but this, it's almost like a sticky rice, the way that it was prepared. So it had a little bite to it, which is nice. Yeah. I'm not sure how long Tupperware made these, but I have had this one since 1983. My high school class in 83 had a Tupperware party for a fundraiser so that we could get money to pay for our senior class trip, which we took in the spring of 1984, which is my senior year. So in my junior year, we did this. And of course, back in the 80s, even 70s and 80s, Tupperware was the in thing. And I think even farther back, maybe the 60s. I don't remember when this company started, but my mom still has a few Tupperware items. When I used to go to play bingo with her at one of the bingo halls that we frequented when we lived in Fremont, Nebraska for a time, kids could play, and there's a lot of Tupperware pieces that were on the prize table. So when I won, I selected a Tupperware item to give to my mom because that's just what I wanted to do. And so when we had this fundraiser party, I bought this tray for myself and a couple other Tupperware pieces for my mom, which I think she may still have them, or one of my sisters may have them. So I used it only a few times going out to an event where food was provided, but you had to provide your own tableware, so I took this tray. Plus my own utensils. And then when, I think in 2017, I won a USMRE from another reviewer, Sticky Fingers, Fingaz 749. He had a giveaway, and I won that ration. So I thought, you know what? I got a tray. I'm going to do it. I'm going to eat it on camera. just like the reviewers that I had started watching, so I did that. And for a time, this was the only tray I had until I bought that green one. I think in 2019 is when I bought that green tray, which came with a couple of little cups. I found that on eBay. And I liked that tray. I'd seen it on another channel. He used to be called Apple Stuffed Bushcraft Stuff and Things. No, Apple Stumped Bushcraft Stuff and Things. I think he's shortened it since then, but I hadn't seen anything from him in a long time. But he used to use that same green tray, so I liked it. And I wanted to have a second tray I could switch off between. So that is the one I use most of the time when I have a smaller entree but numerous sides. That's when I use that one. This one usually comes out when I have a huge entree and only like 2 or 3 sides. Or if I get a ration that has 2 entrees, like some of the Chinese rations that I've done in the past that had the same type of FRH in this foam insulator bag, and I still have the other bags. And I did not use this FRH, so this one will go into my stash of ration heaters that I can use if I want to heat a small item up, but I do not have power to do so, or I am in a location where I want to do that, but I don't have access to any other method of heating it. So that's why I save all of the flameless ration heater bags that I get out of both military and civilian rations. And then the other unique thing that this ration had I'm taking the soldier out in the field would just dump all their food in this, as opposed to having a plate or a tray or a mess kit. And then when they're done, they can either burn this or just dispose of it with their other trash. But I'm going to hold on to this paper, I don't know if you call it a bowl or a tray or something like that, but again, this is something that I can use to put food in when I have to severely restrict my water usage. And same with the spoon. I'm keeping the spoon. I have a place that I put that. I have a place to put the napkin. And I have a place to put this wrapped toothpick. So that if I have to severely restrict my water use, I can go into my stash of disposable utensils and tableware and not have to use a whole lot of water to wash up things. So that's why I keep all of the things like this. Yeah, it would work for that, but I have very few drawers in my kitchen And so they have assorted items in each. You could call them all junk drawers, I suppose. But when you're living in a small apartment with a really small kitchen, you really got to get creative with your storage. And it's even harder when you are trying to build up your stockpile of emergency supplies. You got to get creative. I do not have a storage unit. I don't drive. I would have to have someone with a vehicle who would be willing to help me load up the stuff that I would want to store off-site and take me and my stuff over to a storage unit and then help me load it all in. So the only other way I could go was if I contact someone here who would allow me to borrow space either in their home to store or in another off-site location, because I would love to be able to do that. But when you don't drive, that changes up how you do certain things. Yeah, that's my great niece is a teen, so we know how that goes. I do have this soup left, so I'll be finishing that off. Another thing I could have done, I could have put, when I put the hot water in for the soup, I could have put that beef in there, kind of warm that up, plus give this a little bit more flavor. But as this is, I'm happy with it. But like I said, you could almost drink this. Yeah, yeah, nothing left on the tray other than a little bit of pickling brine and a little bit of soup that's left in my foreign MRE mug. Which won't take me much to finish that off. And that'll take care of that. Nope, I have tea in here. I just grabbed a tea bag. I could have gone for one of my instant coffees, but I just went for the tea bag. But what I'm going to be doing for the next few weeks, because I have 3 more Canadian rations, I got the 2 kosher rations. I'm going to be switching back and forth between them. And the next time I get paid, these kosher rations are made by the company La Briute. They replaced My Own Meals, but I have seen occasional complete My Own Meals with the entree in its own box and then everything else in the accessory bag. I have seen a couple of those floating around on eBay, but I think one's gone. There may be one left. If I can snag that one, then what I may do is I may do a comparison between the My Own Meals and La Briute to show what content changes are made, packaging changes, things of that nature. But I can already see that they have ration heaters in the accessory bags. The My Own Meals, if it had one, it would have been in the box with the entree. Or it just wouldn't have one at all. So if I could snag one of those complete My Own Meals rations, those are certified kosher or certified kosher and halal. Several years ago, CT sent me a whole case that had 12 meals. Several were duplicates, but most of them were certified kosher and certified halal. I don't know if La Briute does halal certifications or just kosher, but I'm interested in digging into those two La Briute rations that I got. And I'm also excited about the other 3 IMPs that I got. They're the paper bags, so 3 of the 4 were packed in 2017. One of them was packed in 2018, and it has a menu number, whereas the other 3 do not. But the last IMP that I opened up was chili, and it was in the plastic bag. I have the chili in the paper bag. So it might be interesting to see what changes took place between the 2017 version and 2023. No, I think it's 21. I think that one was packed in 21. That came in the plastic bag. Yeah, I got 2 of them. But they're both vegetarian. So My Own Meals did the same thing. They had entrees with beef or chicken or vegetarian. And I'm guessing La Briute does the same. The 2 that I got are vegetarian. But the entrees sound like they would be pretty darn good, so I am looking forward to trying those. But like I said, I'm probably going to go back to an IMP next Sunday. And then I'll pull out one of the kosher rations and I'll just switch off. So that will definitely get me into January. But I will be ordering additional rations. I would love to get a hold of a whole case. But I don't know if I'll be able to pull that off. It would be nice to. Now, my next Google payment will not be enough for a whole case of Emery's or MCW's Meal Cold Weather, which are the U.S. rations in the white bag with the freeze-dried entrees made by Mountain House. That packaging has since changed within the past couple of years. Instead of the tan mil-spec packaging of the entree, the ration packers get those pro packs that you can just go into a store or online and buy them, and then everything else is vacuum sealed in another bag inside of the ration bag. So there are some new MCW menus that I would love to get my paws on. So I will continue to look for rations that I can afford, as well as interesting ones. Yeah, I would love to get a case of the most recent halal MREs. And speaking of Readiness Rations, he opened up an older style halal roast beef MRE, and the side items were in the really chintzy silver packets that did not protect the contents very well. All of those items had already gone bad. The drink mix was the tropical punch. He doesn't mind it. I don't like it because of, it, to me that one is just kind of weird. But the newer halal MREs have much better packaging for the side items, but the bum thing about those is you don't get a hot drink option. Unlike this Chinese ration, you do get a cold drink option, but no hot drink option. But there are some new halal menus that I would love to try. That roast beef one that I had was the newer version, with different side items than what he had in his. I don't remember the year his was from, but it was definitely before 2018. No, I think it said 2017 or something like that. But the really thin packaging on the side items, which are pretty much snacks or dessert, they didn't do a good job with protecting those items because they had already gone south. They're just not edible. Compared to the one that I had, which is it was fresher, everything was good, better packaging. Oh, yeah, French rations. I have not had a halal certified French ration. I would love to get my paws on one of those, but I have had several that have been labeled as without pork. That would be the only ones that I would buy. And those are absolutely awesome. I'd love to find some more of those if they were already in the US, so I wouldn't have to worry about my stuff being filched by a certain band of thieves that love to have a free meal at our expense. But the sites that do sell them, including eBay, plus other sites that sell rations like Emery Mountain and this new one, Emery House and Emery Empire, most of their foreign stuff is shipped from out of the country, so I took a risk the last time I ordered from Emery Mountain, and my package did not get rated, so I'm happy about that. But I still have that second halal certified Spanish B2. I've reviewed the first one the first one of those earlier in the fall, so I may not open that up on camera. What I may end up doing with it is one thing I might do is I might do a video comparing the packaging and contents of a lunch or dinner Spanish ration with the particular breakfast ration that I have. Show you what is different between the breakfast and then the lunch or dinner, which are pretty much the same as far as what you get in them. You don't get anything different between the lunch and dinner ones, other than maybe the drink that may be in it. But you get entrees, you get sides, you get a little packet of toothpaste, you get a little packet of hand sanitizer, you get some fuel tabs for your foldable Esprit stove, you get water purification tablets, you get some kind of a drink powder, and then that's it. You get the toothbrush and the stove plate in the breakfast ration. You get the tissue packet in all three, the breakfast, lunch, and the dinner Spanish rations, but you only get the stove plate and the toothbrush in the breakfast one. There's Cold War Prepper in the house. Everything is gone except for my tea. But this Chinese Special Forces Menu 6, pretty interesting, but everything was very good. Some interesting items like the egg yolks in some kind of outer shell that is not egg white. Pretty interesting little item, but very delicious. I had some pickled veggies. That brine is from that. The entree was some bits of minimally processed beef and a sticky rice that had some seaweed and maybe some other veggie in it. There's a vegetable egg drop soup that I had for an Amory mug. No drink option of any kind, so I got water in my drinking jar. And then I just have tea from my kitchen in my delicious mug. I also had some other roast beef that was in some kind of a slightly sweet, almost barbecue flavored seasoning that was probably in with the meat fat. It had a soy sauce packet, and that sauce was very, very thick, almost a paste. So I mixed that into the rice with the beef, and then there's a little bit of the beef fat. I took that from there, put that in there. But that was very good. And of course, these items here, this is a wrapped toothpick. Got the spoon and then a foldable bowl, rectangular bowl or tray, which will, along with the spoon and a napkin and a toothpick, they now become part of my emergency stash for when I need to severely restrict my water use and go to my disposable utensils and tableware. So that's where those will come in. But I was surprised at how good everything was. I did not translate any of this. The The individual food pouches themselves were just this silver color, nothing at all written on them. All the nutritional information is in Chinese on the ration bag. No instructions on how much water to add to that soup, so I just kind of winged it. I'm not sure when this particular ration was packed because I saw only the best by date down here, which is October of 2024. And then the flameless ration heater, which I did not use. The entree was actually inside the heater bag. But they come with this thin foam insulator bag, which is a very nice thing to have. So when I was using ration heaters more than I do now, I was using these bags. Once I got a few of these from the previous Chinese rations I used, I just held on to these. And it was a good thing on one occasion that it did, because my FRH bag sprung a leak and this foam bag caught all of that water, so I didn't have a mess. But again, this has the instructions on how to use it. There's a little water measuring bag that's depicted right there. But these things in the past were like rockets in a bag. It may have taken a little while for it to kick off, but once they do, they just go bonkers. Yeah, some of the other ration heaters that are out there that are produced by military and civilian ration companies, they're like rockets in a bag as well. So I keep all these things in case I need to heat something up without using any kind of fuel. I can be discreet about it. And in one instance, the first time that I had volunteered doing kids crafts at the White Eagle Multicultural Powwow, when it was taking place at the Iowa State Fairgrounds, which isn't easy to do for me because I can just go hop a bus and I'm there. So I was not sure about what food would be available for volunteers. So I had a halal entree. I had saved a U.S. Amory bag. And I had an FRH, and I used that to heat up the entree. But it was so hot outside. You know, I had put the FRH bag inside of the Amory bag, and it got so hot that those two bags literally fused together from the heat that it generated. So that must have been a really good American ration heater bag, because that thing it fused those two bags together. I had no trouble getting my retort pouch out of there. But that was the one time when I used an FRH away from home. But by having a stash of these, I can be ready to do that again. Nope, no, not North Korean. I have a South Korean freeze-dried entree, but I think it may be civilian because it's in a red bag instead of a green one. I've seen lots of the military South Korean entrees on eBay, but I don't know if what would be added to that to make a complete ration for a Korean soldier. I'm not sure. I think the entree was 300 grams. So that's probably maybe 2 to 3 ounces more than a standard U.S. MRE entree. But everything was probably this whole thing probably weighed about as much as a standard MRE. One of the lighter ones. But the calorie count was probably very similar. Yeah, the way the company that packs these for the Chinese military, they put the entree inside of the retort pouch with the heater pad, and then they stick it inside of, they seal it, and then they stick it inside of this insulator bag, and you put the water in, you tuck this, you fold it over, tuck it down in, and what this does, it holds the heat in better, and it also protects the surface of what you may put it on. So that's why I kept these, and I used these. I have 3 more of these. So now I have 4 of these. But these protect the surface that you put your active ration heater on. And like that one instance where my FRH sprung a leak, this caught all of that water so it wouldn't make a mess everywhere. Keeps the heat in. I think I even used one of these when I reviewed an MCW that had the tan packaging for the entree. I stuck that in one of these. And that worked out pretty well. I'll tell you, the pad in this thing is really thick. But the Chinese FRHs are known for leaving a residue, and I felt that when I took the retort pouch into the kitchen to put it in my pot on the stove, so I rinsed my hand off. But I'll tell you, these ration heaters are rockets in a bag. And I think these bags feel a little bit tougher than the American version. The plastic feels a little bit thicker. It's a little hard to tear open, so I just ended up cutting it across the top. Of course, another thing you could do with an FRH, you could put a beverage bag in it with whatever hot drink item you wanted to do, like coffee or tea or cocoa. You could put that in there and heat it up. Or you could use it as a body warmer. But you have to let air into this. Because these require water and air to work. But you could hold it against your chest to warm yourself up that way. Or you could lay it on your bed to warm up a portion of your bed where you want to lay. Although I think there are better options to do that, but in a pinch you could do that. But I'm definitely glad to have this in my stash. So I have acquired a fair number of those. And I will continue to add them until I can't do this anymore. And if I have to dip into my supply, I got them. And if I have to add salt to it, I will. But I think next Sunday I'm going to go for one of the other 3 IMPs that I have. Since I recently had a chili IMP that came in a plastic bag, I might go for one of the other 2 that I have not had. It's awesome to get some menus that I have not had before, so I'm looking forward to those. But the one that I recently opened up, that was pretty darn good. I was happy with that. So that will be coming up for next Sunday. I'll put a post up which one I decide. And then after that, I will probably go for... No, I'll definitely go for one of the La Brea kosher rations. And then I'll go back to an IMP. And so by then, it'll be into January, and I should hope to have some more in by then. Plus I have a bunch of loose items that I can put meals together. I've done those before. I called them ration mashups because I combined foreign and U.S. items to put together a meal. So I can always do that too. Well, thanks for dropping in. I'm probably going to go ahead and knock this off myself since I'm basically done. Just finished off my tea. This came from Delicious, all the way from Poland. I gotta keep remembering to turn everything this way since that's how my phone is oriented. I have not been able to go back to horizontal streaming, which I would prefer. But with this new phone mount that I have, it's a lot more stable. It doesn't shake like the other one does. It shakes, but nowhere near to the extent my old white one does. I still have that one but the part that holds the jaw to the arm, it's getting a bit sketchy, so that's why I decided to go ahead and get another one. It's got 3 ways to adjust it. I can adjust the tightness of the clamp for the thickness of the table or desk I mount it to. I can adjust the tightness of the jaw. I can adjust the tightness of the pivot that the jaw is on. Plus the jaw is wider. It can open up wider to accommodate wider phones, which I like. The bendable arm is a lot thicker. Yeah, I am really liking this new foam mount. And it wasn't all that expensive. But yeah, I'm very happy with it. But I think I'm going to go ahead and call this one done. I do want to thank you all for checking out this very interesting and delicious Chinese ration. Hope to see you again next time. Thanks for watching and catch you on the flip side.